Here at Drinks Dialogue and Debates Podcast, we like to have fun, but we also have to give a safe disclaimer. If you are drinking during this episode, make sure you're doing it responsibly. Thank you.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Drinks Dialogue and Debates Podcast. And we are back with episode 9 of Black Women. Some of the most amazing, if not the most amazing, I feel like in my mind, you guys are like number one beings that was ever created to walk this earth. You guys go through a lot. You guys definitely endure a lot. And I feel like you guys are very, very strong. Like, courageous and just the tenacity that you guys possess is amazing. Before we go ahead and dive into the topics that I have planned out for this episode, I just want to say that I'm going to be taking a little slight more deeper uh, turn with these conversations moving forward, starting with this episode. I'm going to try to keep the approach the same, don't want to come off too serious, kind of keep it a little bit more humorous, so that way it appeal more to the masses. But the conversations are going to be very more deep. It's going to require you to basically look within. It's going to also require you to have some type of maturity to be able to grasp and understand the content that we are going to be talking about moving forward. So, just a FYI, PSA, if you're challenging your mental, you're here in the right place. So, with this, before I go ahead and dive into some issues, I again want to give you guys your flowers. Black women are truly just dope, dope as fuck. There's no other way to put it. Um, Especially given, you guys are always at the forefront of any type of movement that we need to progress. And basically, when it comes to just the all around humanity that we deal with, or the lack of humanity, I should say, that we deal with when it comes to certain things and aspects. So, especially given the feminist movement, I am a proud member and advocate of the feminist movement, even though I'm not female. You know, I'm all for the equality of everyone. Outside of hurting yourself or harming someone else, I feel like as a human being, especially as a grown ass adult, you should have you know, the will to do whatever the fuck it is that you want to do in life. Outside of hurting yourself or other people, you should be able to do whatever the fuck it is that you desire to do. So, who's to say that you can't get paid for a job if you meet the qualifications and you excel in it, all because of your gender? Like, that's just asinine if we're being politically correct. Um, but we got some things to work on, and we're gonna get to it. Now, to go ahead and dive into some things that you guys need to work on. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. I'm gonna be pointing out some things that you may not have thought was an issue, or you're like, damn, I didn't realize I was doing that, or this was a thing. And to kick it off, toxic femininity. It's a word. It's not nothing that I just made up, put out on my ass. I'm sorry. It is the true thing. Um, what we have to understand is that with everything, there is two sides to every coin. So just like we have toxic masculinity, we have toxic femininity. Um, we do know that the masculinity portion of it tends to get overshadowed because niggas be doing the most. But we're not going to talk about them yet because we're going to talk about them next week. So right now we on toxic femininity, right? Now I know you wonder, like, what the fuck is toxic femininity? Like, what the fuck is that? Well, toxic femininity is basically where you use your feminine attributes to your advantage or to demean somebody else. Case in point, ever been on a date? Maybe the first date, second date, fifth date, whatever. But y'all on a date, and you ain't ate all day. And low key looking at this menu, you probably want a nice steak, loaded mashed potatoes with a side of asparagus, or a taste with some crab legs, some shit. But to appear as feminine and ladylike as possible, you order a salad or a soup, knowing damn well that ain't what you want. That's toxic. It's toxic. You're using, you're trying to appeal to this imaginary feminine line for this nigga. It's toxic, sis. And it's toxic because it's affecting you. You basically have to downplay your hunger because you're trying to appeal to this nigga. It's toxic. Another thing, and this one is my biggest pet peeve with y'all, and this is the one that y'all like to use a lot. Basically, if you're in a debate or you're engaging in a disagreement, or let's go ahead and put it frankly, an argument with another man, and you'll probably be like, you should be arguing with women, or you're gay. Are you gay because you arguing with women? That's toxic. Nowhere is it that you can't argue with somebody if you're not a certain gender. Yeah, there's no such thing as that. If a nigga don't agree with what the fuck you saying, he has the right to challenge it. Like you just can't talk to anybody any kind of way, and then when they talk back, oh, you can't talk to me like that. You can't argue with a female. You're a man. Yeah, that's toxic. Very toxic. Another thing that goes hand in hand with this one, putting your hands on men and then feeling like because you're a female, he can't hit you back. Not only is that toxic, that's stupid. That's stupid. Like I said, I'm all for equality. So if you step up, you might get your ass beat. I don't care if you're female. Dope child, I don't care. Pig, I don't give no fucks. Don't step to nobody with that energy and then you want to act all or play the victim when you get it back. Nah, sis. Yeah, keep that same energy. We here with it. But that's toxic. Very, very fucking toxic. And another one, and this one is like heartbreaking for me because y'all experience this and y'all feel like this is the only way y'all have to maneuver through it. But basically enduring or accepting any violence in order to survive. And just to break it down so that way you fully grasp it. Um, choosing what type of clothing you wear because you don't want to make your man mad. Um, making sure that you are doing like, you the job duties around the house, which any gender can fucking do. But if you don't clean up or dishes ain't done or clothes ain't ironed by the time this nigga get home, you might get your ass beat. So you make sure that's toxic, and that's toxic femininity. Also plays upon domestic violence, but it can fit another category. And that was kind of heartbreaking for me because I feel like with past generations, people have conformed to that. Oh, let me go ahead and use my femininity to basically survive this man world, if you want to put it that way. And it's kind of toxic. Like, and I'm gonna try to help y'all as best as I can. Break that cycle. Just take my advice. I give good advice. So I can next one. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. So that another one topic, misandry. Misandry. You know, two sides of the coin. Misogyny, misandry. Yeah, basically goes along the same lines. Hatred of men. How misogyny is hatred of women. Yeah, hatred of men. Um, they can't do something, or if he's into something, yeah, question his sexuality. Hygiene, for one. And this might sound crazy, but I do know some females who are not into men who are very, very in tune and don't play about their hygiene. Like if he has a facial routine, you'll look at him sideways like, what you doing? If he goes and gets, consistent manicures and pedicures, it's a side eye look. It's kind of crazy. I just want to reiterate from our last podcast episode for like LGBTQ. Um, the only way for somebody to be gay is if they interact or indulge in sexual acts with the same sex. That's the only way they can be gay. No other way. Okay. So if he is into, making sure he's on point with his hygiene, face is clean, clear, you should want a nigga that's like that anyway. I don't know why you want to be in a nigga face whose face is not clean and clear. Yeah, just FYI, but that's a thing too. And a denigration of men. Like y'all like to belittle men. If he doesn't have this or that, especially when it comes to that height. I don't know what it is with y'all, but it's like y'all will pass up on a good man because of his height. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. And I'm gonna just graze this topic really quick, but I have another episode for it, so I'm not gonna dive too deep into it. But it's like y'all be wanting a nigga who's 6 feet, got a six pack, 6 figures, the 666 type of ordeal. And to me, it's just this is my thinking. I kind of think outside the box sometimes on certain things. Um, if I had to pick a nigga, especially given the type of niggas that are out in this world, I would really want the nigga who I know if it comes down to me having a fist fight with this nigga, for whatever reason, I have the best chance of winning. Yeah, I be getting with niggas who's 6 feet. And then if they happen to be that caliber or nigga who puts their hand on females, like you have no way of winning that, like at all. Do you know I would dust a nigga who's under six? Like if I was a female, oh, I date a nigga who's 5'4", yeah. Cause as soon as you try to buck up at me, oh bitch, I'll twirl your motherfucking ass somewhere else. I'm just saying, keep that in mind. You know, well, think outside the box. But, we're gonna try to work on clearing up these niggas out here who likes to do that. But in the meantime and in between time, consider a 5'2" nigga. Like, consider it. Anyway, next thing we're gonna get into lack of accountability. This is the one thing that y'all struggle with a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. See, we have this thick way of thinking, and not just women. It goes for men too, but again, we're talking about women, and y'all play this card the most for lack of accountability. So of course, yeah, this is going to be a topic that was designated especially for y'all. Um, but a lot of us growing up, it was always a matter of right versus wrong, right versus wrong, and no, y'all wasn't taught to, let's reflect and let's consider what part that you may have played, even though you didn't commit the wrong in a situation. But let's go ahead and consider what part you played that aided in this wrong being enacted. Relationships, same way. Is y'all feel like because y'all don't cheat, you know, you just don't do no wrong. And it's sometimes thinking, like, okay, well, let me take a step back and reflect and say, okay, what part did I play? What signs did I miss for me to endure this? Because that's another thing too. Lack of accountability is missing the signs of situations. Like, case in point, you walking down the street, you about to go into a store. But before you go into a store, you see another nigga go into a store and he pull out a gun. That's a sign that baby, you need to turn the fuck around and go somewhere else because whatever's about to happen, you don't need no parts of it. But no, you missed that. And you decide to walk your ass up in that store. Now you're part of a strong arm robbery. And it's kind of like, well, bitch, I seen the gun, but I ain't think nothing of it. Like, okay, you don't think that's a problem? That's something you need to work on? Your observation skills, like, that's a problem. lack of accountability. And it's like, y'all especially, y'all love to play the victim. Women love to play the victim. And it's like, that role's not tiring. It's not. Like, always playing the victim, always having to be the victim. That shit don't get tiring to y'all. So where, okay, yeah, I need to do something like different, or I need to work on self so that way I'm more in tune with me. That way, the more in tune I am with myself, the more protective I am of my well being, what I choose to entertain. And I won't endure some of these fucked up situations because now I know better. And you know what they say, when you know better, you do better. Like, I just want y'all to get that. Like, for real. Like, if you don't take anything away from this, take away the notion of self care. And no, self care is not going to the spa or getting a massage. That's just not all of what self care is. Self care is working on yourself, being alone so you can get a better understanding of self, protecting self, working on your mental so that way you can be there for self. Not saying, you can't get a massage or, but that's not all what self care is. Self care is making sure that you are always investing in self, whether that's financially, physically, when you do facial, stuff like that, mentally, emotionally, managing emotions. That's one part of self care. We'll get into that later, but yeah. And just being more in tune with yourself so that way you will know, like, I know who I am. I know exactly what the fuck I want out of life. So when you know what the fuck you want out of life, you know exactly what the fuck you want to accept out of life. And you know how to go ahead and choose situations that are beneficial to you. I guarantee a lot, if y'all really practice self care and get y'all stuff together, a lot of the shit that y'all endured, y'all probably would never endured it. But since we were before, y'all want to endure it again because you know what to look for. You know exactly what you're not going to tolerate. Also, with the lack of accountability, it's always y'all like don't want to make any changes to yourselves. Like, a part of growing is knowing that changes are inevitable. And you always want to make sure you're doing or going in the process of good changes and not bad changes. Let's stress that. Good changes are inevitable. You need those to grow and to better navigate through life. Otherwise, you're going to be experiencing a lot of shit. And yeah, experience is the best teacher, but a lot of shit don't nobody want to experience. Like, I know for a fact y'all don't want to experience domestic violence. Like, nobody wants to experience that shit. So get a better, aware of self. That way, you know how to gauge these niggas that come along. And trust and believe, when you really get more self-aware of who you are and then the world that you live in, oh, you're gonna be a bad motherfucker. For real, for real. Like, no bullshit, no cap. You really are. Because you'll be able to read other people, read situations, read people, knowing if they're good for you or not. Like, I can just look at you and tell, yeah, you're not good for me. I'm good. And it's always not about, who you attract, it's what you entertain. It's not about who or what you attract, it's what you entertain. So you can attract a bum all day long, but are you going to entertain that bum? You can attract abusive nigga all day long. Are you going to entertain that abusive nigga? That's basically what it is. And then also with the lack of it's like you never see any wrong doing of yourself. Never. It's always what somebody did to you, but it's never like you're not gonna consider what you did to yourself. Case in point. Case in fucking point. You with a nigga. Now y'all haven't got an understanding, and I'm gonna touch more on this in relationships, but just give them a brief synopsis of an example. Y'all never actually went the proper steps of developing a relationship. So that means you have no understanding. You have no understanding of what the fuck y'all doing. It's a commitment, but y'all didn't go through and explain exactly or detail what this commitment would outline. You don't really know this nigga as well as you should before you got involved with him. Come to find out, you're with a cheater and he's a narcissistic or narcissist. Sorry. Now you can tell you don't like this, and we know you don't like this because every fucking day you're arguing with this nigga about what the fuck you doing. Oh, who is this that you're texting? Oh, why they tell me they seen you out with this, and every day it's an argument. So clearly you don't like what the fuck is going on. But it's kind of hard to tell if you don't because then you still stick around. Yeah, he's wrong for cheating, but ho, you wrong for staying in the situation, knowing that it's something that you don't like. And you could have got up after that, out of that sooner, way sooner, like way sooner. You seen this shit months, a month within dealing with this nigga. But no, you allowed 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years to pass on by before you decide to make a change. Like, girl, what are you doing? But we'll dive more into that topic. But this episode is pretty much about that. Like, black women, y'all could be low key unstoppable if y'all would take accountability and get more in tune with self. Because to be honest, a lot of situations that y'all endure is due to lack of self care, lack of self awareness, lack of accountability. Y'all will endure a situation and all because y'all was brought up on right versus wrong, right versus wrong. So when y'all endure a situation, y'all don't truly reflect on the whole situation. Y'all reflect on the wrongdoing that was done against you, and that's all y'all see. That's all y'all focus on. Instead of reflecting on the whole entire situation. Like, let me reflect because there must have been something, a vital sign that I missed the fuck out on that could have saved me from enduring all of this the fuck I did. Case in point, I made a post on Facebook the other day, um, and it was pretty much that dating somebody who does not have their basics in order. And when I say basics, I'm talking, housing. They don't have their own place to stay in order. Transportation, depending on what city they're in, and if their job is work from home, because you're not doing COVID, work from home now. So depending on if their job is work from home or the city that they're in, transportation could play a factor in that. Um, and just being able to take care of themselves, making sure that they can feed themselves on their own. Those are the basics: housing, transportation, food. So shelter, transportation, food, and clothing, of course. They don't have their basics in order. But you can still decide to go ahead and date this person. That's a red flag. It truly is. Because you're dating this person, they don't have their basics in order. So pretty much they're in survival mode. They will do and or say whatever to survive. So of course you wonder why this nigga is, told you, yeah, he love you and he's committed to you. Baby, he's homeless. Of course, he's going to say that. He needs a place to stay. And I guarantee if their basis is not in order, all kind of shit with them is just fucked up. Their mental is probably not in order. They got some underlying demons. Probably got some borderline aggression because they don't have the basics in order. And they're like a ticking time bomb. You don't know what or when they will set the fuck off. You don't know what will cause them to set the fuck off, and you don't know when they will go the fuck off. But you just, oh no, you just disregard that whole red flag. You done jumped into a relationship with this nigga, and now he's going inside your head, and he's not contributing shit. He's not bringing nothing to the table. He's just another mouth to feed. Just getting aware of stuff. That's just an example. We're gonna touch more on some shit later on down the line, but that's what I really want Black women to work on. Really, especially accountability, and then also toxic femininity and misandry. Like, work on that, get that in order, comes to terms with that, and just do better. That's it. Because I guarantee once you get that shit in order, not to say that, because in life, life is unexpected. There's going to be some shit you're going to deal with, and it is what it is. It was meant for you to go through it. But a lot of the shit y'all go through is easily avoidable. Get that in order. Come on, sis. Let's boss up, sis. Let's get right, sis. Let's start taking accountability. Let's stop playing the victim. Because the shit is tired. It's played. I'm hoping y'all tired of playing the victim because I'm tired of seeing y'all be the victim. Just saying, I'll try to do better. That's all we got for now. Next week, men, Black men, coming for y'all. I know another thing too with Black women, y'all like to deflect a lot. So I know y'all probably sitting as y'all watch me tearing to your ass. Well, what about the men? What about they coming? Wait a minute, we was on you, sis. We getting on them next week. And that's another thing. Stop deflecting. That's y'all number one. That's y'all defense. That's like the number one defense mode. You know how you play Mortal Kombat and a nigga don't know how to play, so they just press my kind of buttons and they find out the block, so they blocking. Every fucking move you do is block, block, block. That's y'all. Every time somebody come to y'all with something, deflect, 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 deflect. Come on. No. Deflecting is like, that's when you know a motherfucker ain't got no type of ammo or no dog in a fight when it comes to some serious shit or, a disagreement. Deflection. That's what y'all do. Stop doing that. Okay? If somebody's making a good point and they're making sense, just accept it. It's cool. It's cool for you to say, damn, I ain't thinking about it from that perspective, or that makes sense. I can agree with that. Nothing wrong with doing that. It's actually mature. Deflection is kind of childish because, like, what about them? What about them? What about you? What about you? Yeah, get that together. But like I said, next week, Black man, coming for you. Stay tuned.
Aww.